I'll call this meeting of the Bristol Town of Bristol Budget Committee to order at 6:05 on Tuesday, December 16th. Thank you all for coming. We'll go ahead and get started with our pledge. Cheryl, would you please lead us?
Sure. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, okay, good.
Sorry.
I think today is probably the busiest meeting of our schedule, so I'll try to keep things going, but as usual, if I'm going too fast, please speak up and let me know. Our first section today is section 4140, Town Tax Collector, Town Clerk. So I will make a motion to advance the budget for Town Clerk, Tax Collector, section 4140 in the Select Board recommended amount of $214,756.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Buzz. Cheryl, what we typically do now is I stop talking. We'll give you a chance to bring up anything that you want to bring to our attention, or any changes, or things we need to know about.
Okay.
Then when you're done with that, we'll go around and see if any of the committee members have any questions, and then we'll finalize the vote and approve it.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to bring up and tell us about?
Yes. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but we had money in the budget for the town clerk new equipment, and we were able to order the new ballot counting machine.
Yeah, just for everyone else, that's line 810. I think we originally budgeted it in 24. We didn't buy the machine. We budgeted again in 25. I think what we had heard was that the Secretary of State had to finalize the choice of the machine, and it didn't happen in 24. But
Correct.
they have chosen, and we're getting the new machine?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep. We ordered it in October. We probably won't receive it till the middle of January or so.
Okay.
So there's that. We ended up putting two lines together. We put the 414620 and 414625 together. So it does look like the line went up, but we just ended up putting them together because they're both postage and office supplies. It's kind of all together.
Okay, I saw that when I was looking through. So 625 and 680, I think, are the
Yeah,
two lines.
625 and 680. The billing, I'm sorry,
680
yes.
is zeroed out, and 625 looks like it has an increase, but if you add that together, it's level funded.
Yep. Yeah, because it was the billing expense, and it was what we paid for postage, and then to mail the tax bills and things like that.
I was just gonna add, when Cheryl and I were going over our budget, it seemed that they were being mixed. So we felt it was cleaner to make it one line for both, for everything, and that was much cleaner.
So,
Okay, great. Anything else you want to
no, not really. There was only one election this year, so it did go up a little because of there's 3 elections next year. And I think that's
right, so instead of just the town election in March, we have a state primary in September and a state general election in November, right?
Yep.
Okay. Any other members have a question, Joe?
Just on the postage and office supplies.
Mhm.
So the 2025 budget in total is
11,400.
6,900.
No, 625 and 680. Add them together,
625
it's
and
11,400.
680.
Got it. Okay, I thought it was 6.
I misspoke.
No
Yes.
worries. Okay.
And we haven't billed yet for the tax bills, those are coming out this month, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I think I can guess, but I don't like to guess, so I'm gonna ask. I see that the line 110 and line 130 both have significant changes. That's the salary for the town clerk tax collector and for the deputy town clerk tax collector. One went down and one went up.
Mhm.
Is there any, I mean, I don't want to get into personnel issues here, so I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty details, but is there a little further explanation you can give us for why those big changes happened?
Well, the town clerk tax collector went down because Rama had retired and she
With all those years, she was making a lot of money and you don't get paid that much.
not yet. In Carrie's, the deputies went up because she transferred from what she was making at the water department.
Okay, so she
And
was
so-
already hired,
yeah.
and so she, right.
And the board
Yes.
approved the
Yes.
somewhat lateral move with the.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I think there's something else, but maybe just. I guess that's it. Does anyone else have any questions, comments? Are we ready to go ahead and vote on the budget? Not hearing any. We'll take a vote for final approval. So we're voting on section 4140, town clerk tax collector. We haven't made any changes, so it's the original amount of $214,756. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. Thank you, that was spectacularly fast. I was
It
thinking it would
was.
take longer.
It was great. Thank you.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Yes.
So, in the idea that we try to take things in order so people don't have to spend more time with us than they are required to, I'm going to jump to cemetery because Chuck is here to talk about cemeteries and we can do that. Chuck, you're welcome to stay, but that would allow you to get out and leave if that's what you wanted.
It's gonna be tough, I know it.
Let me find it right
Excuse me.
here. It is. So I'll make a motion to move the budget section 4195 for cemeteries in the select board recommended amount of $800.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Les. This is not a very big thing, so
No.
is there anything you wanted to say, or you just want to make sure we don't?
So what we're looking at this year coming, we need a somewhere to put all the stuff that we use in the cemetery, weed eaters to do help out with the cemeteries cutting, the cleaning stuff. We have a building that we got from the transfer station, and I bought a new one at the transfer station and then gave the one to him, and it's too small and he needs a bigger one. So we're hoping to take the money this year and just go ahead and purchase a bigger one. So that's where the 800 comes in.
Okay,
So that's it.
okay. I will point out, it sounds like you have different plans for how you're going to use the money, but it's a level funded. Doesn't look like we're on track to spend 800 this year, but that
Right.
is the budget for this year.
Right, well, we were gonna do that this year, but I had that building over there and I just gave it to him. And so we didn't use the money like we wanted to, so,
We're gonna actually ask the board to encumber some of that money for
Yeah.
the cost of the shed towards it.
yeah.
But they'll still need to split this year and next year to buy the shed, so.
Okay. Buzz, go ahead.
If you have this shed that's too small, does it have any value to the town? Can it be sold?
It's a plastic, or well, not plastic, it's probably this bit wide. It's a small shed.
That's it.
It's not that big.
What I was gonna do is
Look
take
at it.
to the transfer station, I can use it back there again, so I was gonna take it back there.
We could potentially probably use it in our trash
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
Um,
We'll figure something out, but I could use it too.
It is really too small. It's, moved over here and needed a little TLC. We were gonna put it on pallets and it's still too small, so, we're going to either dispose of it or find another use.
Yeah,
for
there's
it.
probably this table about like right here.
Yeah,
That's all. I had it for putting shovels, snow shovels and stuff like that. I had a couple little ladders and we just outgrew it, so, but, so,
but yes, if we can sell it, we would. Run by Chad Shaw.
any questions, son?
That's what I was gonna say. Any?
I'll just say, I'll abstain from this vote.
Okay,
Just my father-in-law.
yeah, I know. Anyone else have any questions? Not hearing any, I think we're ready to vote on this bottom line. So we're gonna make a vote for the final approval of section 4195, which is for the cemeteries, in the original amount of $800. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained?
Abstain.
Passes 601. So, thank you, Chuck.
Thank y'all.
All right, well, I obviously miscalculated because the library had asked me for a specific time so they wouldn't have to sit around and wait. I said, well, sure, it'll be about a half an hour, let's make sure. I told them 7 o'clock. So we'll go back to the beginning of the list and we'll start with executive, work through as many of those as we can until we get to 7 o'clock, and then we'll do the library. If anyone has an objection or an alternate plan, speak up, but I think that makes sense. So we will go to, I'll make a motion to move section 4150, which is, no, that's, it's not the wrong one, sorry.
41, yeah.
I got a bunch of tabs open and there's, I got so many, I can't read them.
4130.
Yes, if somebody, but, if we set it up ahead of time, it's not turned on now. Does somebody want to?
Bailey's just asking.
Oh, she can watch them on YouTube.
Oh, here we go, 4130, I got it. Make a motion to
If she wants.
consider
So she
the
can.
executive section of the general government, section 4130, in the select board recommended amount of $250,763.
So,
Sorry, is that you, Scott?
yep.
Okay, I wasn't looking then. So motion by Paul, seconded by Scott. Christina, you want to give us a walkthrough of things you want us to know about and call to our attention?
There really isn't a lot of change in this. There's a lot of, a few numbers that were reduced. The line 120 is the executive administrative assistant, the administrative assistant. We revamped that position. It is shared with the transfer station. And they did, with the transfer station, they did receive a slight bump up, so they're getting a little bit more than the 4%. But this part of the budget, if I remember correctly, holds the majority of it, and I'm trying to remember the number of hours. I think, good God, I probably should have looked at this. I think the number of hours here is 30, it's like 90% of the budget, and 10% of the budget went into the transfer station. So this administrative assistant covers both places. In the past, the administrative assistant that covered the transfer station and the highway department and the assessing and land use,
Right.
she was covering multiple positions and it was starting to overload her, so the board agreed to swap them out. And we've got one person doing assessing, land use, and highway now, and we've got a different person doing upstairs reception and the transfer station. So,
Is this effective January 1st, or has this already been implemented, or?
it's already been implemented, that person is now the transfer station assistant. So the budget, you're gonna see is gonna be also in the transfer station when they come in and present their budget.
Okay, the thing that I'm probably being too analytical here, but the thing I don't understand is, so they were budgeted for a salary in 2025, which was a full-time position, 100% of their time, 40 hours a week. And now for 2026, this line is gonna pay 90% of their salary, but the line still went up 4.8%.
They were, you didn't hear me say they received a bump, they received a pay adjustment already this year to take on the additional roles. So they received a pay increase this year, so that's why you're seeing a larger increase when they took on the new roles.
I did hear you say that, I just, if they've got another 10% in the land use, in the solid waste section, they basically had a 14, almost 15% increase. That was just more than I was expecting, but that's not my job, so I'll stop talking.
And line 114 is down 9.8%.
I was just trying to think too, I was thinking this position was transferred to full-time. When did we transfer to full-time, do you remember?
2024.
Yeah. So we did transfer to full-time at a lower rate in 2024, but that was only for, was that for a full year or was it for April? So that was only April to the end of the year, so there would be a little bit more of an increase because this is for a full year at the full-time at the new rate.
Okay, so you're saying that the 25 budget, that wasn't a full-time position for all of 25?
No.
I didn't remember that. Thank you for bringing that up.
I can't tell you the exact date, but I can look it up and bring it back to you, just to make sure.
I appreciate that, and you know that I like details, but I don't really want to get into personnel details of town employees, so don't bother for me. Please.
And then other than that, there's really not much more to point out. The FICA there's a new rate for FICA, and that's adjusted based on the wages, so.
What's the new rate, just curious?
It went from .062 to point,
I don't remember off the top
Oh, that's
of my head.
okay.
it's .7 something. I have it in a spreadsheet, but good God, I need to.
Yeah, it
It's been a
doesn't.
large increase.
What?
It's been a large increase across
Yeah.
the board.
It's .0765, so it was .062, so it's like 0.01%, but you wouldn't think it would be that much, but it does add up, so.
On a percentage basis, yeah.
It's like a 14% increase.
What?
It's like a 14%
Yeah.
increase.
Yeah. And when it's a smaller number, it probably
Right.
looks worse, or big, vice versa, so. But I don't know if there's any specific questions about lines. Those are the main ones that went up the most.
No, I looked through, I don't have any others. Anyone? Brian does. Go ahead, Brian.
Just a question for a little explanation on the retirement rate. Christina,
Yeah.
you had mentioned in an earlier meeting that had gone down. Is this the employer share of the retirement?
This is the,
Line 230?
Yeah,
this is the total cost of the retirement.
No, the total cost of the town.
Yeah.
right, so there's two different rates for the retirement. There's the individual rate for the employee, and then there's the town rate.
So this is the town rate for the retirement, and that percentage is depending on what category you're in. It's different for different departments, but for the town, it is 12.75%.
And how about the employee?
I don't know that number. That comes out, so that's set up in Harper, so I don't know what their percentage is.
If I just may,
Yeah,
is this the New Hampshire retirement system?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay, so the 12-point-something%, is that rate higher or lower than the previous year?
Lower.
And was that based upon legislation on why it went down?
Yes. They've had, I can't tell you what bill it was, but over the years it's been, they calculate out what the retirement should be over the years, and this year every rate went down. And then we don't know, and it will be for the next 2 years the same rate.
Okay. Just a comment from the group. I think it's about $1.2 billion shortfall in the New Hampshire retirement system. And the only reason I'm familiar with that is I sat on a committee when we were looking at this a few years ago. So I will just point out that in the future, this is going the other way.
Okay.
To make up for the shortfall.
Yeah.
Correct.
It'll be the same for 2 years. It changed in July 2025, I believe, and it goes straight through for 2 years. So, but you're right, we don't know the new rate, but most likely it'll go up, so.
Anyone else have a question, comment?
And again, I just will say that 12.75% is only for category 1. Police and fire are a different rate. And those are by NHRS rates. Those aren't anything we set, the state sets, so.
Okay, we're ready to vote on the bottom line, I think. So we'll take a vote now for final approval of the executive section of town government, section 4130. We didn't make any changes, so it's the original amount of $250,763. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 700, that passes.
I was waiting for you to change line 130.
Did we want to? Let's see, line 130.
They want you to change it up.
We can do that. We can do lots of things.
I just very good.
I think what's the standard line, I'll let the voters decide, right?
No, don't do
All right, so next on the list is financial administration. So I'll make a motion to advance consideration of the budget for the financial administration section, which is number 4150, in the select board recommended amount of $219,492.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Les. Christina, you're on again.
I will point out, line 120, there was a new staff member hired at the end of 24, so the number in the budget wasn't probably accurate for their pay rate at that time, because the position was vacated almost 6 months to a year before that. So this budget includes the corrected amount and the 4%, so that's why it's a little bit more money. Finance officer position is what we brought the new finance officer in, so it added 4%, so it was fine. And then overtime went up 100% because there are 2 full-time positions in here, so we've estimated about 500 per person approximately. We don't do a lot of overtime in the town offices, but sometimes it's required, so. FICA's the same thing, adjusted based on the wages and the new rate. Retirement's the new rate, but it did go down a little, or didn't go up a lot, excuse me, based on the wages. The audit, there is a new amount there. We're gonna have to, we thought we would have to do the one-time audit this year, but we didn't spend the amount of money this year, we didn't spend the amount of money in 2024. That was when we thought what we're paying for an audit is 2024 out of this year's budget. So we are definitely going to have to do the one time because we will have expended those funds on the Central Street project, so that's incorporated in this as well. And also we have to do a special audit as part of our annual audit of the audit of retirees and liability, so that's an extra fee now that costs us as well. So those are all included in that new number. Meetings, memberships, trainings, office supplies, both those lines went up because we eliminated the welfare office supplies and we put, out of the welfare admin, when you get to that budget, we removed those out. So we increased this to accept welfare as well as finance as well as HR, so.
When you reference the Central Street audit, is that a single audit?
Yeah,
Okay,
yep, it's, 2.9 million,
okay.
yep. And so, and if you spent over a certain amount of money within the year, you have to do a single audit, and we're going to have spent,
Yes.
right now, we're probably close to 800 grand that we spent, so.
I think the threshold's 750.
Yeah, I think it's 750.
So we're spending that money in '25,
So
so
we'll
in
have-
'26, when we do the audit for '25, we'll have to do more work.
We'll have to do the special audit plus the regular audit and plus the NIHART audit on retirees, so.
So, I guess the thing that I'm not clear on or wonder about is, if we have increased audit expenses due to a sewer project, can we fund that out of the sewer? Do we have to fund that out of
There
financial
isn't.
administration general revenue?
There is an increase in the sewer budget as well. I'm foggy tonight, so I apologize ahead of time. Jeff hasn't presented yet.
No, he is not, he's
So
not.
there is an increase in the sewer budget on the audit line as well, but the budget, the Central Street project is 50/50. It's town and sewer.
Right,
So we've increased this side and we've increased the sewer side to cover that. Thank you for reminding me of that, Paul.
okay. So the sewer is, like the whole project, the sewer's being split 50/50 between
Yeah.
general governments and specifically
Correct.
sewer
Yeah.
enterprise fund, okay. I understand you've increased the overtime and the membership training because of 2 people. The fact that somebody just resigned and we don't actually have 2 people, do we have an opportunity to?
We're
Save any
interviewing
money?
in January.
All right,
We already have 8 applicants for the new position,
okay.
so fingers crossed.
I was guessing you would say no, but I thought I'd ask.
Well, and there might be a month,
Yeah, that's not
there
worth
could be
worrying
some
about.
savings there, but I know that the HR fees for the GFOA and the HR fees have gone up a little bit, so, which is the SHRM, HR is the SHRM membership. So that, I think that went up a little bit this year, but GFOA is, so you will see more money coming out of this. GFOA is the
Is the
government
finance office, yeah.
Yeah,
Finance
So-
officer.
we have another bill coming out of this year. We'll see closer to that 1,400 being spent this year. And then the welfare association and trainings isn't quite as drastic, but it does add a little bit more money in here for that as well, so.
Okay. Yes, I did notice that we still have a welfare administration section, actually we'll do it later tonight, but it's 0. All of that's been moved into here.
Yeah, I can't eliminate it until probably next year, if that's.
Oh, yeah, because we have to look back at historical, I understand that,
Yeah.
yeah, even though it's 0, we still have to have it for at least a year. All right, anyone else have any questions or comments? Not hearing any, we'll go ahead and vote on final approval for financial administration budget section, which is number 4150. We didn't make any changes, so it's the original amount of $219,492. All in favor? Aye.
Who seconded,
Let's opposed, abstained, I get 700.
who seconded that the first time when you opened it?
I think it was
I
Les.
seconded the opening of it, yeah.
It's in the recording,
Thank
said,
you.
I did say motion by, seconded by,
Got
I'm
it.
pretty sure it was Les.
It was.
Yeah, I just didn't write it down.
I try to say it out loud because I thought it helps our minute taker to have it said to specifically, so she doesn't have to. All right, so we're done with financial administration, legal. It's 4153. So I'll make a motion to advance consideration of the legal budget section, which is number 4153, and the select board recommended amount of $80,000.
A second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Sue. Anything? I don't think so. Do you got anything you want to tell us?
We did level fund it.
Yep.
We are going to be close to either spending the full 80 or slightly over, so. had a lot going on this year, so, so we left it alone. We just don't know what's gonna happen next year, so. That means the first year, you'll see 2024, we finished the year with savings, but this year we're gonna be closer, so.
Okay. Questions or comments?
Is Barbara still legal counsel?
Who?
Barbara?
No. We have Donahue Tucker is for our employee matters.
Okay.
They review, and then Drummond Woodson is for our training, land use, utilities. So Drummond Woodson, we have Sean Tangy, who is the main person, but we're getting new people now because some of our attorneys have shifted or gone to other places. And then Donahue Tucker is Attorney Mansfield, so.
Okay, so there's a series of firms.
Yep.
Thank you.
The Sean guy is the guy who
He
just
comes to
typically showed
town.
up at town meeting.
Sean will be at town meeting this year too, yeah, so.
Did you have something? No, okay. Not hearing any other comments, not having a crystal ball that I can give you a more precise number, we'll go ahead and vote on this. So we're gonna vote on final approval on the legal expenses section of the budget, which is number 4153. We didn't make any changes, so it's the original amount of $80,000. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, none, passes 7-0-0. All right, next is personal administration. So I'll make a motion to advance consideration of the personnel administration section of the budget, which is number 4156, in the select board recommended amount of $837,287.
40.
Did I say it wrong?
You said
830.
4155.
$837,287. Did I say it?
You said 4156 for the line, sorry.
4155. I said the line number wrong, not the dollar number wrong. Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Paulson, thank you, Joe, seconded by Joe. Thank you, let's keep it moving.
The main impact, there's a couple of spots. The biggest one is the health insurance is really the biggest number. It overall increases 20.6% for our health insurance costs. We budget them half a year, so we put half those costs in at 10% for half the year. So the other line that went up is tuition reimbursement. We actually will have spent the full 2,000 this year. The board agreed to add another 1,000. People are starting to utilize the tuition reimbursement. So we added 1,000, which is basically 50% more. Unemployment costs, compensation costs went down, but workers' comp and went up, and so did employee testing screening costs went up. So.
I don't know if it's a budget. I mean, just reading in the paper about these, I don't know if I use the right words, shared risk pools that we get our insurance through, and one of them ran into problems and this and that. So rates are going up, but we're confident they're gonna continue in business and we can keep getting insurance through them, or is there's a potential crisis coming? You don't know either.
I don't have the crystal ball, but they are guaranteeing that they're going to continue business since the bill was changed. There was a bill that was going to affect them, and the bill was changed quite a bit. Could they? Could Health Trust?
Well, could anything happen, yeah.
Health Trust is the majority of towns, cities, and I believe schools are also. They go into this pool, and it's supposed to save money, but so our contract goes from July 1st to June 30th with them.
Right.
So we are anticipating, hopefully when we hire the new HR person, to try to go out and see what we can, if we can get better rates next year, so.
Okay. Thank you. That's, I think, good to know and
Yeah.
share. But Brian, go ahead.
Christina, because it's the largest item in this particular budget segment, what is the percentage of the employer contribution versus the employee contribution?
Employees are 12%. They pay 12% out of pocket. The board has chosen not to change that rate.
Does the town offer health savings accounts for the employee?
We have a flexible spending account, but not a health savings account. So we have and we have a few people that do take advantage of the flexible spending, so.
I don't think your plan allows for an HSA.
No, they don't.
Those are tied into
The
high deductible
deductibles.
plans, and that's,
Yeah, the deductible's not high enough.
So,
So it's 12% for the employee, I think you said.
12%, yep, out of pocket. So the cost that went up in here also goes up on the employee side for them, so.
Thank you.
I guess I'll just comment that even though there's a 10% increase, and it sounds like there's some kind of trouble with the risk pool that I'm not familiar with, almost all commercial insurances are drastically increasing this year, so a 10% increase actually is pretty much the best rate you're gonna get right now.
I hear you, Joe, I don't like it, but I wasn't gonna complain about it,
I know.
because I didn't think we had an opportunity to do better.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? I think we're ready to vote then, so we'll vote on final approval for the Personnel Administration Section 4155 in the original amount of $837,287. All in favor? Aye. Opposed and abstained, there are none. 7-0, we've passed that one. Now this person, general government, 4194. I'll make a motion to advance consideration of the general government's budget section, which is 4194, in the select board recommended amount of $445,147.
A second?
Motion by Paul, seconded by Sue. General government. Start closing some of these things we're done with.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I can touch base on the biggest increase, which is really, the biggest increase is really the line 430, maintenance, repairs, grounds. That was increased to cover, for approximately $4,200 to cover Belknap landscaping. Well, it ends up being $4,500, sorry. But it covers Belknap landscaping to continue to treat the oak tree at the new property. That includes, they're supposed to be doing pruning sometime this month, the beginning of January, and then there'll be a couple of more treatments that we'll have to pay for next year, and that wasn't budgeted anywhere. So that's why that line went up, is to cover those. But it covers all of those other things as well that you see in the notes, so, whoops, sorry, Sean. That's the line I'm talking about. Sorry. Other than that, I don't know if you have any specific questions. I can touch base on them. There was a slight increase, very minor, on the technology and computer management. I believe we are in our 4th year of the remediation process, so we have 1 more year after this, but that includes software, computer replacements, and remediation, so.
On the chemical toilets, it looks like we spent more than what we budgeted last year. Is that gonna continue into next year? Or?
I'm gonna double check that. I'm wondering if fireworks get charged here.
Oh, that's possible.
Yeah, I'll double check it and make sure.
So for line 413, you'll check on actual spend for this fiscal year and get back to us unless, and,
I can look right now.
okay.
Actually, I can't, because I have to look at each bill. Did we add any extra, I don't do the porta potties anymore, so, did we add a porta potty for any extra events at the park?
Mill Stream one we had already had.
Yeah, so I'll double check and make sure the rates haven't changed. I'm wondering though if fireworks might have charged here, so.
Do they do the maintenance, you know, the cleaning, I should say, of those?
Yeah.
Because the Millstream one had an issue last year that was quite a mess. People were using it.
Well, one of the issues I think with that one is
Yeah.
the heavy use it gets on Saturdays now
Yeah.
with the craft fair. So
Well, this was even before the craft fair. We had come on, and so it had been happening through the weeks. And this happened like 3 weeks worth of stuff. It was before we even got there. So a lot of people couldn't use the toilet.
what day did they empty it? One day a week typically.
They do Monday, Tuesdays and Fridays, I believe, that they do it, but we've had, some of this, we've had to call them out for extra cleanings and we have to pay extra for those.
Yeah.
We are going, I did talk to Ashley, who does these, with the highway department, about us doing an RFP next year. Sorry, I just saw electric bills, but those were deducted back out. So I did talk to her about trying a new vendor next year. We've had a really good service with this company, but I've been approached by another company who's is local. So we're gonna try and do RFPs to see if we can reduce our costs. But it does look like.
They might have come out for extra cleanings if that was the case.
Yeah, we did have to pay extra cleanings, and I think we had to pay one repair.
Yeah. I think that was part of it.
On the IT equipment, are we still locally hosted for all of our systems?
We won't be by hopefully the quarter of the way through next year is the plan. We're doing right now, and we're in the middle of 2 phases that are switching us to cloud printing and OneDrive, and then the next 2 phases we're still negotiating, but there will be a phase taking us to an online server because our server is failing. It won't be the police department yet, but it will be all of the departments, and then SharePoint. We've already moved the select board to SharePoint, so.
That's good. That's a very good thing. Everyone's on top of it.
So I was gonna say, this makes it look like we haven't spent the budget, but some of this is some of the phases we're doing now. So I will cover those phases, so that we're not paying for those next year.
This is 342, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Just want to be sure I know what we're talking about.
Just want to make sure we're not in the same boat that like Peterborough is, and some of these other towns that have been hit by cyber attacks. Moving to the cloud offers a bit more security than a server in a closet somewhere in one of our town buildings, so.
Over the past couple of years, we've done some pretty big remediation projects, and we've gotten all the same platform now of equipment, which makes it much easier than trying to log in and out of multiple platforms. So we're able to do that with a substantial discount from a select board member. But it actually has been a big savings there. And then we did move to, those platforms have way more security than what we had. So. And we actually redesigned the network because we also have the fiber, and there was a big exposure in the fiber previously, and so we redesigned the network to eliminate that exposure. So. Excuse me.
I just want to go back to line 430 again.
Sorry, what line? Go ahead.
430, the one that has the increase due to the tree fixing.
Yep.
Was that anticipated when we decided to buy the parsonage? That was going to be an issue, or was that a surprise after we took control of the property?
When we bought the property, we weren't sure what we were doing with the tree at the time, but we did have someone come out when we were looking to plant the trees in the square. And when they came out and gave us a quote, we agreed that we wanted the tree treated to be kept. But I think what we didn't realize was all of the pruning costs that it's gonna cost the we saw the plan, but I don't think we realized what those costs were gonna be, so I had to put them in the budget, so. I know I didn't realize what those costs were gonna be, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
So Sean probably did,
Well, Sean's an expert.
because Sean's an expert.
The reason I'm asking is that I'm a big fan of consistency. And so since last year, we had a separate warrant article to raise and appropriate funds to do trees. Putting this money into the budget kind of strikes me a little bit off. If we, in order to get money to print, to buy and plant and maintain the 4 new trees, the 3 deciduous trees and the 1 evergreen tree. Now, why we put $4,500 in the budget, but I have a
Because we've
feeling.
already started treating the tree, to stop treating it at this point, we've kind of just wasted. Right, we
Because
waste.
it's town property now.
Right. The tree, by the way, what we used to maintain the tree was part of the warrant article, in the past year, but the cost to keep that tree, it's a beautiful tree, and to keep that tree is a little bit more than we anticipated.
Just to clarify, when you
Yeah.
say warrant article, you're talking about the buying the parsonage warrant article, not last year's tree warrant.
Buying the parsonage warrant article, correct. There's about 65,000 of that warrant article ended up covering the cost of the demolition and the addition, a demolition and the paving and the widening of the driveway, and then there was 2,700 and something of the warrant article that went towards the maintenance of the tree for the property. So
I think that I have to just remember that if the tree went away, I would be disappointed, so I
And-
gotta suck it up.
also, go on, this,
Right?
this maintenance is to save the tree right now. There's been no treatment of that tree for many years, and when we demoed the building, there was a concern that the demolition would cause damage to the tree, the roots. We've had to dig up the property twice since we demoed the building, so that's it.
It's a good sized tree, it's
Yeah.
nice, and I just have to remind myself that if it went away, it would change the look and I would be disappointed. So you gotta spend what you need to spend if you wanna keep it healthy and there.
And then this won't obviously be the cost going forward, this is just to finish up the contract we have for the maintenance, which includes that pruning and then the 2 more treatments in the following year, which is next year.
But it's not,
It shouldn't continue to be a big burden.
No.
thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That was
Yeah.
gonna be a follow-up
Well,
question. This isn't an ongoing every year
no.
we're gonna do this.
I had specific directions for the demolition crew, and anytime they got too close to the tree, I yelled at them. I'm like, stay off the roots, don't go on the roots, please stay away from the tree.
All right. I don't think I have any
Even
motions.
Jeff got yelled at.
I don't think I have any motions to amend. Did anyone else have anything they want to bring up? All right. I think we're ready to vote on final approval. So we're gonna now vote on final approval for the general government section of the budget, which is 4194. We didn't make any changes, so it's the original amount of $445,147. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 700, it passes.
I think your library crew is outside.
Oh,
I don't know if they know.
Thank you, Sean.
I texted and told them they could come in anytime.
They're ready for you folks.
Okay, sorry.
They were early, so they were working through some other.
I didn't realize you were out there. We were waiting for you to come in. All right, so we're a few minutes early, but I think rather than doing another section, we'll go ahead and
This
do
next section is pretty small.
what's that?
The next section is actually pretty short.
Insurance property.
Yeah, you want me to do that?
You want to do that real quick?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe.
No, general government, we've already done it.
I
So,
figured
oh, cemetery, we
both
already.
out at the same
Yeah,
time.
we've done cemeteries.
All right, I'll make a motion to advance consideration of the insurance property liability section of the budget, which is 4196, and the select board recommended amount of $80,779.
Second?
We got Buzz in there.
Yep.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Buzz. Christina, anything you wanna?
I mean, it speaks for itself. The insurance cost did go up for 5% approximately. We have not received the full update, so there could be a change, but for now, it's 5%.
All right.
So.
You will let us know if we need to put it on the agenda for the reconsideration meeting in January.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else have any questions or comments? Not hearing any, I think we're ready to vote on final approval. So we're gonna vote on final approval for the insurance property liability section of the budget, which is $41.96. We didn't make any changes, so it is the original amount of $80,779. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 700. Insurance property liability is approved. So you want me to keep going and making a motion and then step aside, or you want? Okay. All right, our next section is the library. So I will make a motion to advance consideration of the library section of the budget, which is $45.50, and the select board recommended amount of $295,279.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Joe. We are now have a motion. Before we start discussion, I will bring up again the fact that I am actually a trustee of the library. I'm trustee, one of the 9 trustees of the library, and the treasurer for the library. So I've asked Sue, who's our vice chair of the budget committee, to take over running the meeting, because I need to step back, because I have different viewpoints and some conflicts, and we don't want to dominate this meeting. Thank you, Sue, for so I'll stop talking.
Sure, no, that's great. I'm not sure what's to come up to the podium, but.
That will be me.
Okay.
And I actually had printed out some info for you guys if you would like. I only did 6 instead of 7. I'm so sorry. I missed one.
You just wanted to say.
Some of us can share.
I know. And I brought, is this the updated one right here that I called you about? Okay.
Did you talk to Shannon?
No, I just left you voicemail, which is,
I didn't get to it.
I know.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
But Shannon got you that. She's great.
Shannon's awesome, and I'm really happy she's back here.
Oh, we should.
And if you could introduce yourself, because we don't know who you are.
I'm Patty Hayward, I'm the library director.
Okay.
All right, so I figure you have questions for me, and I have a couple questions for all of you as well.
So, no, I caught myself.
You did good.
So since I never heard, so what were you saying?
Where's the duct tape?
So to start with, I don't know if you want to go over the budget with us first and kind of explain some of the.
Well, there's 2 points that were big that were kind of missed because I was really sick and did the select board meeting from home. And I think there were some things lost in translation that day. So there were 2 budget lines that I wanted to go over with you. One is a nice easy one. Oh, I forgot my glasses in the car. That's okay.
I might have an extra.
Yeah, just readers?
Yes, like 2s?
Yep.
Oh,
Perfect.
thank you. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be much easier now. All right. All right, so the easy one was line 641, library custodial service. I think that I failed to really mention that they did ask for a raise. They went into this job in 2023, summer of 2023 were they hired before I got there. At a $65 per clean of the library. So they clean the whole library for $65, which is a little bit outrageous. And they were told going forward that they would be making more than that, but that was not communicated to me. Finally this year they said, hey, it's been, it'll be 3 years. Could we possibly get a little bit of a raise? Because even the cost of their cleaning products has gone up and they're really losing money cleaning the library at this point. And I just suggested it go up $10 per clean, which brought our budget line up to 7,800. And I would like that to be reconsidered if possible. So that was the first one. That was pretty easy, straightforward.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to amend line, 4550-641, to the department requested amount of $7,800.
Second. Okay,
Who's it doing? Go ahead, did you say it?
it was a tie, Scott can have it.
Oh. Okay, brought up by Joe to amend the custodial service price from the 72 recommended select board price of $72.20 to $7,800. And if you could go and speak to it, yeah.
I mean, I just think
Yeah.
$75 per clean for a building that big is a steal. So even though it's an increase, I think we're getting a great price. I don't think there's any other vendor who would probably do it for that, so.
I agree. Anybody else have a comment or anything? No? Good. Okay. So we can take a vote on that, whether to amend that amount from 77,000, the recommended, I should say, from the select board, from 7,220 to 7,800, the original request. All those in favor? Okay. So that would be 6 and 0. 6, yes.
Are you abstaining or do you technically?
No, he's
Abstaining.
abstaining, yes, and 0. 1 abstain. Okay.
Okay, and then the other, thank you, by the way, the other budget line was number 194, our youth services librarian. The select board did decide not to go from a grade 9 step 1 to a grade 10 step 1, so that's not what I'm asking. What I am asking is that I think the miscommunication came in here. Our 2025 budget was for a 20-hour children's librarian. We now have a full youth services librarian who works with children from baby all the way to the age of 18. And the handout that I gave you details the current responsibilities of her job. And as you can see, that's a 40-hour-a-week job, and I'm not even asking for that this year. I'm just asking, we hired her at 30 hours because she is qualified with a master's in library science and an undergraduate degree in education to be a full youth services librarian. She has done a fabulous job, and she does a lot. And this budget reflects a 20-hour. I would like for it to reflect a 30-hour without the grade and step change that I requested, just the regular percent increase that anyone else is getting, but to retain her 30 hours. The price for that we worked out would be $35,143. And that's a big ask. I know that, but it's definitely worth it. She deserves it, and she cannot do her job in 20 hours.
I'm sorry, Betty, you said 35?
143.
Okay.
That also slightly raises FICA and Medicare, which is what you and I went over.
Yeah, so the 30, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
The 35,143, that's the additional hours, but does that include the 4%? That would go in April.
You did this math for me, so.
Don't ask me to remember that. Let me look right now, hang on. Library.
I'm kind of more a literacy girl than that girl, so that was. And then you did also give me the updated FICA 220 line that would change slightly, and the 225 line that would change slightly.
Actually, it does, sorry, it does include the new, so, okay, I can remember now.
Well,
So it does include it would be the hours, but it would also be the 4%. That would be in April as well, the new number, if you agree to it. So.
Okay, so that, anyone have any questions?
Just a question.
Of course.
I don't know if I'm correct or not, but whatever dollar amount the town approves at the town meeting, that amount would be set aside for the library. Do the library trustees then have the ability, even though this is a nice budget plan, they have the ability to move monies within whatever that dollar amount is?
I think we do.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
There's
Brian,
not a lot to be spared. I mean, I couldn't cover that from another point in my budget. You can kind of see that this budget's pretty tight, like everyone else's. I definitely don't overinflate.
if I may, Sue, just to follow up.
Yeah.
Traditionally, for the library, at the end of the year, is there funds that are left over that go into a reserve account? Or is it the library budget is spent and you're basically just going year to year?
Well, I've been in charge of the budget. This will be my second full year this year, and we're looking to come in just under the budget, just under. Last year we went over a little bit because of a broken furnace. So there.
If there's any money left, it goes back to the general fund currently, the way it's set up, so.
Okay.
So,
So can I do a follow-up?
Okay.
So does the library have any funding other than the municipal funding that comes in? I think that might have been a question, but I'm not sure.
I did get a couple of grants this year that went through the Friends. Next year, Paul has found a different way for us to do it that adheres more to keeping everything so that the town knows exactly. Although I was pretty vocal about all the grants and listed them specifically on the website, social media, and in the newsletters so that the people in Bristol would know exactly what we got other than and it was for our snack bag, after school snack bag program got paid for. It kept some of our hot spots on without having to ask anyone for budget money for that. My gosh. I don't remember. There was a couple other little things too, but nothing that was going to really come out of the budget anyway, I don't think. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any questions?
Do you want to explain to the budget committee how this problem came up? Why?
Well, I think I did at the beginning. We had a 20-hour children's librarian that left in March. We found a fully qualified youth services librarian, and I actually put off hiring for 3 months, and we tried to fill it ourselves just to save the money so that we wouldn't go over budget this year. But it should have been laid out better by me to say this is going from 20 to 30. If I had been here in person, I think that would have been communicated more easily.
You mean, you forgot, were able to lay out that, when, was that last year's meeting, or what are we talking about?
To the select board?
so,
To the select board meeting,
Okay.
yeah, sorry,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
at the
okay.
select board meeting, I was home sick with the flu.
Okay.
So I dialed in for the select board meeting, and I think the communication wasn't as good as having me here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that kind of got lost in translation.
Okay, so the person that you hired was doing 20 hours, but then you promised them that they would be going up to a different level?
No, I hired someone at 30 hours.
At
Her
30?
offer level,
Okay.
her offer letter said at 30 hours.
Oh, okay.
That's what we we really need her for 40, but that's a whole nother kettle of fish with,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But she thought she could do the job in 30, and she's excelling at doing the job at 30. I would love to offer her more at another point,
Right.
but definitely the job cannot be done in 20 hours.
Anyone else?
There's no motion on the table.
No.
I get,
Is there a motion on the table?
No.
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 Okay. My only question would be the trustees as to whether you're in favor or what your thoughts are.
Entirely.
Absolutely.
Very much. She's wonderful.
Because I don't think you've approved your budget yet. Is that correct?
Oh, no, yeah.
We have,
We
we've
have.
been working on this.
Okay.
The story that I have to tell you is that as treasurer, I'm the person who identified this misunderstanding and lack of the budget. So it came up at the library trustees meeting in November. And we talked about the fact that the person in the job is doing a great job, and she's currently being paid for 30 hours a week, and we don't want to ask her to take a huge salary increase that needs to, I don't disagree, I think needs to do. My proposal was that I thought that the overall budget increase for the library is already over 6%, which is definitely on the high side amongst departments. So I said, my recommendation is we go back through the budget and we ruthlessly look at needs versus wants. We probably can't offset all of it, but we offset as much of it as we can to minimize the net increase to the budget. And there was some disagreement on that. There certainly wasn't an agreement, but there was no formal vote. So I'm frustrated that I'm not entirely clear whether the trustees as a whole agreed with my recommendation as library trust treasurer to cut other things in the budget to minimize the net increase, or to do what is being proposed here, which is just add the $9,000 or $10,000, because it'll take it up from a 6% increase to like an 8% increase.
I mean, I think my context on that though is like with most of the departments, it might be a 6% increase, but the majority of that is payroll related, right? It's the increase we do to COLA, right, the cost of living adjustment, and then the increase on FICA is a good chunk of it too. I also just, I mean, if there's an offer letter out there at 30 hours, I don't know what kind of employment issues might pop up if you try to reduce that, right?
I don't think anyone has recommended or proposed that, or is even
Yeah.
considering it. Not even a cheap person like me is considering that.
All right.
Well, I have a couple other questions, and I just need to have clarification. So, on line 196, library and technical services librarian, is you saying it's not a new, it's an existing position, but I don't see anything prior to this with your ask of 30,000.3, whatever that is, 30,003 whatever that is. I'm not quite sure what that number is.
That went up, other than the 4%, that went up about 7 cents. It was not, it's really just trying to reflect the level of education. That librarian also has a master's degree.
Okay. Well,
It wasn't to
well,
show
Oh, no,
the
she's-
history.
you're
it
right.
doesn't show a history.
Your
Yeah.
face, she's working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have it
She's going to
yet.
school currently,
Yeah,
she does
she's-
not have that degree.
It was
Yes.
part of line 191, but it was broken out into a new line and then,
Yeah, I'm answering the
and
question
then increased
wrong.
the grade and step. on the
Yeah, because
new one.
it doesn't even look like it applies anywhere. It looks like this is no pre-existing, so I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure where that amount comes from. The same with line 195. I'm not quite sure on that one, where the increase is for, 53,477 from,
That's an existing line.
yeah. Is that that's just a raise for
That's just the regular 4%.
the regular 4%?
Yeah,
raise?
that's
Okay.
all. Yep.
All right.
The one, sorry to step in.
No, that's okay, you're-
196 was
Yeah.
originally part of line 191. It is
Okay.
a difference though, because there's a grade and step change as well here. So there, it's more than just a 4% increase for this position.
Right,
And I
okay.
think Patty can explain that.
But very, very little. When we did the math, was it 7 cents or 17 cents? It was so small. I
You're
was,
talking about for the total year, or are you talking about to the hourly rate, or I don't understand?
I
So-
think it was, to the hourly rate, it was like 7 cents or something an hour. It wasn't anything, it wasn't, as much of an increase as I wanted to give her.
I'm certainly willing to make a motion, but I don't know what the total number should be because of the FICA.
It's gonna,
I do have the FICA number if you need that.
So
you would have to do them by line, Joe.
each one by line.
There would be 3, yeah, we'd have to change line 194
What's the,
and 220
what was the new number for line
and 225.
The new number for line 194,
It's 35,143.
35143.
Okay. I'll make a motion to amend line 4550, 194, to the amount of $35,143.
Second.
Would you like to explain?
I think, you know, we've committed to a town employee 30 hours. I mean, my daughter's an avid user of the library, absolutely loves the library. They do a fantastic job with children's programming.
Mhm.
She sings like library songs at home nonstop. So, I mean, I think one of the populations in town that probably utilizes the library the most. I think it makes sense to have a youth librarian. So, just
Okay.
on many fronts, it just makes sense to me.
Sure. Okay, anybody else?
Just a question,
Oh, sure.
just so that I don't misunderstand Patty, correct?
Yes.
Did the library trustees take a formal vote that's in their minutes on the budget recommendation, or is it something that you sort of support?
I'm not sure we took a formal vote.
We have to look at the minutes.
On the initial budget, we did vote for each position on the initial
Oh, we
budget.
did, yes, right.
Mhm.
So, to clarify, when the budget was originally put together, if you look in the column for the department budget, the trustees voted on that,
That amount, okay.
yes.
Just a comment aside, the library's doing incredible programming.
Yeah.
It's one of the most active libraries I've seen, so it's a good thing.
I didn't realize until I had a 3-year-old.
The point that I need to make is, and I've said this in our trustees meeting, is I'm going to abstain, but if I were to vote, I would vote for this. My concern, my frustration is not with this line. My frustration is I believe there are other lines in this budget that could be cut that would make the total increase not as onerous on the taxpayers of the town. So that would be additional motions, so that's not just something that we need to talk about right now.
Well, let's go to this one first. We could ask you, I guess, if there are any other areas of the budget that you could see that could be,
There's a motion on the table, we need to vote
Oh,
on the
sorry.
amendment.
oh, sorry, okay, yeah. So, okay, so Joe asked for the motion of, to increase the amount from, well, their original request was 36,266. The select board was 26,500. And the request is to now be 35,143. All those in favor?
Aye.
So that would be 6 and
And it's
1 abstain. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would go with the FICA ones. Yeah, do you have the FICA number too?
Yep, I do. This was one of the ones that you and I worked out.
Yep.
16,333 would be the new FICA line.
I'm sorry, What was that, Patty?
Where is that line?
Yeah, I'm sorry, that is line 220,
220.
16,333.
Thank you.
Yep,
I'll make a motion to amend line 4550-220 from the current select board recommended amount of $15,672 to a new amount of $16,333.
Second.
That was good.
Okay, well, I could just, since we've already approved the line, I guess I can ask just if we want to vote that? Okay. And so, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Again, that's 6 and 1. 6, 4, and 1 abstain.
and the Medicare line, 225 would also slightly change.
That would be line 225, yeah?
225 would change to 3,096.
I'll make a motion to amend line 4550-225 from the select board recommended amount of $2,970 to a new amount of $3,096.
I'll second.
Why did it go down if we're adding,
It went up.
It's
salary?
going from
It's
2970 to
Medicare.
30.
Going up.
The select
Well-
board 2970 for the new number of 3096.
Oh, 'cause
Right,
Because
but
they had
but they
3,000.
recommended,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
What?
but it's
They
less
had
than the
recommended
recommended
3,001,
amount.
yeah.
The amount of what we approved is less than what they had asked for in the
Yeah.
budget as well.
Right,
Make a
that's
motion.
what they
But
asked
the
for was
amount
based
went
on
up.
the 30 hours, so
Yeah.
why are?
There's a higher
No,
pay
it was,
grade.
It was at a higher pay grade,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
they asked for 36,266, but you only put back 35,143.
Right.
oh, okay, yep.
Okay. So where are we at?
Oh.
We voted.
Oh, yes, so great, we just need to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So again, that's 6 and 1 abstain. So now the overall budget would change. What was the final tally on that? Everyone added that up?
I can get it and just running a report right now.
Yeah.
Can I ask Patty on, or can I ask a
Yeah.
question?
Sure.
On line 4550-390, library security, there's a comment there about adding $540 for fire monitoring, which was previously in a different town department budget line. Was that pulled out of the other department's budget?
Yes.
We were paying for it under general government before.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I clicked the wrong report.
That's okay. So can I ask one more question too?
Of course.
So do you see anywhere else, I think I'd asked this before, that we were ready to go to the finale there, any place that can be cut, something that? can
There's
be-
one line that I had added 300, that was line 674 for programs. I could take that back to this year's, back to the 2024 1500. I could cut 300 out of that because I can write a grant or have a fundraiser.
Sure.
I think I could do without the whole 1800 even though we have a ton of programming.
You did 1,300 last year. That
Mhm.
would be 500 down though.
I know, I
Are
was.
you okay with that?
Yeah, I'll give it back. I'll give it back. I'll do the whole 500 because I feel confident that I could probably do some grant or fundraising to cover that.
So the final would be, you're saying you would
I
take?
would go back to 1300. Yeah, I would go back to 13.
Am I gonna be the motion?
Mr. Motion?
Oh,
You're so good at it.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to move line 4550-674 from the select board recommended amount of $1,800 to a new amount of $1,300.
You take it. Help, you take it. Do I have to say who says it? I'm sorry. I should
It
say-
helps Shannon when she does the minutes if you say it out loud.
Yes, a motion made by Joe and seconded by Leslie.
I don't have really any discussion beyond what we already talked
Not
about.
really, because we just need to tally on this one. I just, I'm trying to.
Yeah, we just need to do a vote.
You just need to do a vote.
On the final?
No,
Um,
on
Oh, I'm sorry.
line
Yes, okay.
694,
Guys, okay, so for 670, line 674,
674.
yep. We have a vote of 1,300. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. So 6, 4, and 1 abstain.
Do you want your new number?
New bottom line.
New bottom line, yeah.
It's 304789.
Okay.
And I make a motion to increase the amount recommended in the budget from 295 to 79, if my eyes are reading it right,
Yeah.
to 374,
304
304,
789.
789, yeah.
that's the one. 304,789.
Second.
We didn't want
I
to
can
have
show you.
to-
No, never mind.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's one in my bag if you want.
6, 4, and 1 abstain.
There's a pencil here. Oh, perfect.
Okay. Back to you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
Thank you very much. Can I keep this? Okay.
I know this will be a joke. Thank you for coming, have a good night. You're welcome to stay, but I don't expect Thank you.
Thank you. And have a Merry Christmas, too. Merry Christmas to you.
Okay, so, we've done insurance already, right? Animal control, what's that week next, right? Christina?
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve line 4414, animal control, in the amount of $200.
Second, motion by Scott, seconded by Paul, to advance animal control 4414 section. Not hearing any comments or discussion?
There really
We will
is.
now vote on final approval of this
No
section.
comment.
Speak up if you want me to stop, but I think this is
We
the
just
right
don't
thing
know
to
what
do.
we'll pay, so we just love it.
This is the same every year, so it's, okay. So we'll make a final, vote on final approval on animal control section 4414 in the original amount of $200. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, abstains, passes 7-0. So, welfare administration, 40, do we need to approve this even though it's a 0?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to advance consideration of the welfare administration section of the budget, which is 4441, in the select board recommended amount of $0.
Seconded.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Joe. I think this is like animal control, let's just vote on it.
Yeah, I don't think
Yep.
there's anything to say. We're just
So
bringing
we'll
stuff
we'll
out.
have a vote on final approval for this budget section, welfare administration 4441, in the original amount of $0. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, abstain, none, passes 7-0.
Just a quick question, where
Go
does
ahead.
that come out of now?
Finance.
Finance.
It's part of, so it's part of the HR position.
So rentals and everything would come out?
No, there, you'll have another.
The next section
Section.
is welfare payments,
Oh,
so
okay.
that
So
cross,
this was just the administrative part, the person.
Okay, I make a motion to advance the consideration of the, doesn't say welfare, it just says vendor payments, but we know that
It
it's
does.
okay, welfare vendor payments, which is section 4445, in the select board recommended amount of $24,650.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Scott. Christina, anything you wanna?
No, not really. I can just, welfare burials is, line 810. We did double that because the cost of, we are getting more requests on burials. So that pays for 2. And we've paid for 2 this year already, so. And then the board did reduce, the department asked for 20,000 and the board did reduce that to 15. So, and we're gonna come in pretty close to 15.
That was gonna be my follow-up question, is that, what, do you have a feel for what the end of year 2005,
One
I'm
of
sorry,
our,
2025 actual?
one of our biggest costs probably for welfare was we had 22 applicants. The first, we transferred this into HR, and the first month, she had 22 applicants in the first month. 11 of them came from one property. So once we were able to close that property, things have settled down a little bit, but we probably have about 5 or 6 applications right now, so.
This is for rental assistance.
Rental, heat, food,
Yep.
so.
Is the welfare burials, this is kind of probably a crazy question, is that just an assist in the burial? Is it a burial, or is it just
It's an assist. By statute, we pay up to $750 if they qualify for assistance,
Okay,
so.
and that's a burial, or is it right on a
could
plot
be-
of land, or is it
It could be
cremation?
burial or cremation.
It is, either, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it really, the $750 is, if it's a burial, obviously it's gonna be a lot more money,
Yeah.
than a cremation, so.
Right.
But statute is $750.
Okay.
And I would assume that the rent goes directly to the landlord?
Correct. And, actually, even burials goes directly to the funeral home. We do not, the only time an applicant would get the direct payment would be if we're giving them a voucher to go to the store to get food or something, or a gas card potentially. We do gas cards on occasion to make sure that they can get to their appointment, if they need to for medical reasons or to, even to a job, so.
Anyone else? Comments, questions? Not hearing any, we'll vote now on final approval for the welfare vendor payments, section 4445. Didn't make any changes, so it'll be the original amount of $24,650. All in favor? Against or abstained? None. 700, that passes. Go to beaches, right? Beaches. Make a motion to advance consideration of the beaches section of the budget. It's section 4521, and it'll be for the select board recommended amount of $46,403.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Joe. Before I ask any questions, Christine, anything you want to bring up?
Contracted services, in which is line 301, increased slightly. We have to, we might have a revenue to offset this. I'm going to talk to the board at their next meeting about anything that's being done to, just, let me rephrase that, being passed to the towns. So, the cost did go up on the contract services. We have to install lines and the mooring lights, and we have to remove the lines and the mooring lights, and then there's an adjustment for repairs there. We do have to occasionally repair the lines if they get cut by boats or vandalism during the year. So, other than that, the FICA was the new rate. For some reason, it adjusted everybody up in some of the budgets, but other than that, those are the 2 lines that are up. We did leave, let me refer, in line 430, we did leave it level funded, because we are going to be, we're replacing the beach signs, so instead of reducing it after replacing the swim lines, the proposal is to replace the beach signs, that there need to be, two of them need to be replaced, they're starting to fall apart. So we're going to be replacing them, we have a quote to do that, 1 at Avery and 3 at Cummings Beach, and they'll all be similar in, theme to the new Newfound Lake sign, so.
So that was the line I was gonna ask about, line 430. So it went up significantly this year because we were told that the swim lines were in horrible shape and it wasn't just installing, we needed to buy all new lines. So I was anticipated that was a 1-year bump and it would go back down this year. So the fact that it didn't go down is disappointing. I read the explanation at the bottom and you just said it, so now we're talking about signs. Could we spread the signs over 2 years and take some money out of there? Is this a want or a need? I mean, I guess I would ask Scott. I mean, you guys discussed it at the
She
select
said the
board. You
signs
know more
fall
than me.
apart. I mean, I don't know what.
You don't know either.
Have you, well, and we aren't, these aren't even addressing, we have more than this that needs to be done, so we are, not just the beaches, by the way. So we are, if you've noticed the Welcome to Bristol signs, the nice painted ones, they're looking really bad. And those aren't even being projected to be replaced, so we are doing them in stages, it's just that this is the beach. There's only 1 at Avery Kraus, but there are 3 at Cummings that have to be replaced, so. Which include in your entrance, your exit, and then the main sign. I don't know if the Avery Kraus sign will make it much longer.
Okay.
But-
You're giving me the answer I expected, but I felt I needed to ask in case you had a different answer for me.
When we tried not to make an impact by being able to replace those signs and level funding the line. I know you wanted it to go down, but.
I don't get everything I want in life. This is not unique.
So those signs that are already going bad, hasn't only been a couple of years that have been up there?
No.
Which ones are those?
These are the beach signs. They say Avery Kraus Beach and Cummings Beach, and then the entrance and exits.
Okay.
So they aren't the main signs that are around town. These are
Right.
the actual beach signs.
Okay.
So they haven't been done. I think
But the
they were
main signs
done
are doing well.
before I became town administrator. They would have been painted though, not
Yeah.
replaced on. I think she just painted over the wood when she did it. Do you remember, Les? I think she just painted over the wood when she did it. Yeah, she didn't replace the wood, so it is probably time to replace
Yeah,
the.
yeah.
But-
They get a lot of wear and tear, that's what it like.
Well, when we take them
Yeah.
out in the winter and then we store them, but they're stored in cold storage, which probably isn't helping them any either potentially, but, and then we put them back out and then we take them back, so that is probably adding to the wear and tear too, so I don't know. But we
Probably
do,
better than being lakeside all winter though.
yes,
So,
yes,
okay.
be- especially at Avery Crest, that gets brutal down there, so.
Wow.
Anyone else have any more questions or other lines that they'd like to ask a question or make a comment? Go ahead, Scott.
I'd like to also point out, right, some of this is offset by beach stickers.
Yes,
This
so
budget line.
we did, I don't have the revenue in front of me, but we do, I would say probably a quarter to, I think quarter to 20,000 maybe is offset by beach stickers off the top of my head. We are going to, I'm gonna talk to the board about a new thing that we're going to we have to apply for mooring permits now at Avery Cross, so that we can charge a fee, and we might be able to offset some of the increase in the contract services by the fee that we can charge, but we have to figure out who's going to be doing that job.
It's just something passed on by the state.
I met with the moorings, the state mooring, they said, and because we own the beach, we have 21 moorings and 4 different groups that will be applying. and I have, so say it stays with me, I have to gather all of those applications, and I have to submit all of their documents to the state and make sure it's a completed application, under the town's name.
And who was doing this before? No,
The moorings were,
their individual owner was
well, the group, yeah, they were.
going directly to
yeah.
the.
So the moorings company, I believe we used to have to do this before, because I remember in assessing doing this application before and having to come to the board. It has changed a lot since then, so they've sent me, I asked them for a sample of the application, so I could see, and there are 4 groups with 21 moorings total. But we can charge a fee per mooring, so it's something I'm gonna talk to the board about. So I don't know what that would be. Do I think it's gonna be a huge impact? No. But there is a little bit more that we'll be able to assess there, so.
Okay.
That's been a historically challenging relationship anyways.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think, not hearing any more questions or comments, we'll have a final vote now on the beaches section of the budget, which is 4521. We didn't make any changes, so it is the original amount of $46,403. All in favor? Aye. Against, abstain, none, 700, beaches passes. I make a motion to advance consideration of the Economic Development Committee's section of the budget, which is 4651, in the select board recommended amount of $1,450.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Les, for EDC, or,
This will this title is changing,
Yep.
so it's really not just, these are technically economic development committees, but we are revamping the economic development committee, and they'll be now economic opportunities. But I'm gonna find out if there's a better name that we can change this to in the budget, because it is economic development projects, meetings, memberships, energy committee, and the PEMI PAC committee, which will now be its own committee, not a subcommittee anymore. I'm gonna double check for a better name for the whole budget, so. I just don't know what that will be yet, sorry.
And the limited activity this year is really just related to the fact that we've had a hard time staffing this committee, right?
Economic development, we've had a hard time, but we also not given enough direction to them. So there have been some work sessions with the select board, and we are actually thanking the current economic development committee for their hard work. We are starting a whole new committee. The whole new committee right now, the title of the new committee is Economic Opportunities, right, Scott? Economic Opportunities. Oh, good God, I have to look. The reason we switched it is because it's not just about development, it's about soliciting opportunities that will help. So there'll be an advertisement, if anybody's interested, that we'll put out to the public, soliciting membership when the time comes. So I'm hoping to have something to the board this week, maybe. But this again, there was no place to put anywhere really in the budget, the Energy Committee or the PEMI PAC Committee, and it was felt that they were both fell under economic. Maybe it should be economic resources, something like that, but we felt that originally they all kind of tied together and they were all subcommittees of each other, and so now it's been changed that they're not, so.
okay, I asked the question when we were putting the agenda together, so I'd like to know the answer, but I don't think it really changes things for us, so. Let us know when the decision's made and we'll update documents, but I don't think we have any changes. I haven't heard anyone make a suggestion for an amendment to change any numbers, so we're ready to vote?
Well,
No, Buzz, you go ahead.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Somebody want to say something?
yeah, I'm chairman of the PEMI PATH committee, and there's $250 in the budget now, but we are, after I don't know, how many years of effort. We are this close to signing a use agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers. Then we have also, in order, as a quid to us agreeing to go to a 5-year term instead of 20, they are paying the full cost of the required National Environmental Policy Act Tier 2 environmental review, although it's kind of on hold because their budget is in limbo due to everything that's going on in Washington. But we are going to be going into the design phase sometime, hopefully in 2026, and that's going to necessitate significant dollars paid to the town consulting engineer. I have asked him to prepare a new cost estimate for the path, but also a new estimate of his total all-in fees for the design phase, monitoring and construction. The one thing that, from a budget standpoint, that you probably all should know is that we have stopped chasing grants. It's a waste of time. It's never yielded any success for the path. And we are, when we get a signed agreement and a satisfactory NEPA study, we're going to be forming a 501c3 Friends of Hemi Path Committee and doing a public fundraising campaign to pay for this. And I have been in contact with a number of, and Sean is sleeping through this, but I met with Sean as a resource too, but I've talked to a number of excavation contractors in town, and they're all willing to do 2, 3, 4 days work on this for nothing. So fundraising will be hopefully just for the costs of material, and that could be under 100,000, or it could be closer to $1 million if there's a significant bridging involved in the first portion of the trail south of Bristol. And if the Corps of Engineers insists on something akin to what we have at the mill stream, will be closer to the $1 million figure if they allow us to do what Sean has proposed as a very elegant fix, which is a concrete block and timber bridge, which is more than adequate to ferry snowmobilers on their way. Will be, and if we could get some of that material donated, will be significantly low. But in any event, this $250 is, I don't know what the number is, but it's not $250. And I've asked for a number, but Mike hasn't come through with it.
I will be talking to him tomorrow, so I'll see if I can get a number from him tomorrow, but we don't have it for tonight. The $250 was just if there was any kind of memberships that they needed, or if they needed to get supplies or something like that during the year. We didn't have any other numbers at the time we broke out this budget, so.
And historically, just 2 years ago, the Economic Development Committee budget line was at $3,000, I think.
Yeah.
And then last year, we added more. That money is, Mike McNally just submitted his estimated cost, and it's under $3,000. But he was tasked with redoing, in part thanks to Sean's work, redoing the trail map to make it more specific, and he's added topographic lines to it because it was the Corps requested that, and he's done that. That's in his bill, and he's also, as I say, he's working on updating the cost estimate, and that's covered in that money. So that money hasn't all been spent, but it was there, and we've tapped it.
It's fantastic work, Buzz. It's super exciting.
That's for sure.
Well, it hasn't happened yet. So.
Well, all my fingers are crossed.
Yeah.
So thank you for that update. I think are you saying that you think that the design cost for the Penny Path should be paid for with town general funds out of the
Well,
budget?
I'd like to fundraise the whole thing, but I think we'd have to have the design before we can fundraise, so I'm not gonna write a check. And I don't think I have talked to an attorney, and we have an attorney all set. When I tell him to go, he'll set the fund, but we cannot fundraise until we have a signed agreement and we have a satisfactory NEPA, because otherwise it's, and there's another issue that Christine and I are addressing that may also factor into this, but we can't go out under a false
No, it
flag.
makes sense. I'm just.
So I think the town's gonna have to cover Mike's initial expenses.
He's funny, he must know we're talking about him, he just emailed. But he didn't email the quote yet, so I just emailed him back and said, hey, do you have this?
Could that go
I
into-
should note that we're also going to, if the campaign is successful, and everybody that I've talked to has assured me it will, but we're also going to raise money to have, to cover ongoing maintenance. I've talked to Victor, and he will make available space at the transfer station so that we can have store a pile of the crushed gravel that is used to refresh the trails. The Northern Rail Trail floods every year in portions, and they have piles stationed along the trail, and they just go out with a bobcat every spring and fix it. And we'll store ours at the transfer station. The highway department has said they'll convey it to the trail as needed and do the work. So we're trying to set it up so that there will be no ongoing expense to the town. But we'll fundraise the construction amount, and then if our campaign keeps going, we'll put some money aside in trust for maintaining it. And we can also, the 501c3 won't go away, so we can always have future capital campaigns as needed.
So, you haven't said this, but what I think I'm hearing you say is that you'll work with Christina and the town to get a cost estimate for the design work, and we might need to bring this up in the January reconsideration meeting to increase this number, but at this point, we don't know what to increase it to, so we're not gonna take any action tonight.
But
Is
it's
that
gonna
fair?
be,
Is that a
yes,
fair
it'll be a
recap?
lot larger than $250.
Okay, you're giving us a heads up.
Yeah.
All right. And I think I'll say the same thing Joe did. Thank you for all your hard work, and I think it's great for the town, and I'm personally excited. I want to go out and hike it, so this will be great.
Once wasn't enough. It was for me.
You can hike it now.
Last year, he and I got snowshoes and did it.
Forest there.
It'll be more fun with it level and the snowmobiles packing it all. There won't be as much work next time.
We actually hooked up at the Hebron Fair with
Pasquini
snowshoers, yeah, and they were working with us to have a formal snowshoe event this winter.
Good.
We've done a lot of outreach at the Hebron Fair the last 3 years, and we now have a mailing list of over 70 people. And, it's catching on.
Great news. I think we're ready to vote on final approval. So we'll have a vote now for final approval of the Economic Development Committee's section of the budget, 4651, in the original amount of $1,450. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, none, 700, that passes. All right, so we've got 3 debt sections coming up, and then we'll be done, I think. I make a motion to advance the debt principal service, debt service principal, section 4711, in the select board recommended amount of $365,167.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Joe, for principal payments on long-term debt. Anything you want to say, Christina?
These are all updated based on the debt schedule. We did not put a number in under the 997 yet.
Right.
We're planning, the bond anticipation note that we have with Franklin Savings Bank covers the project until we finish it. And then USDA will kick in and pay that bond note off and we'll be bonded with USDA. We don't anticipate, because the project won't be finished until probably July now, that we'll have a bond payment until the following year now. So that's why there's nothing in that line right now. But the rest of those numbers are updated based on the debt schedules.
So, I guess my question is a more general one. I know that if the schedule says we have to make these payments, we have to make these payments. I'm a little confused because when I looked at this, I see that for this year's budget, we're at 334, and the proposed number for next year is 365. So it went up. So I said, oh, I don't think we did any new projects. And then I said, oh, it must be we do a level payment year to year, and as we pay it down, the ratio of principal to interest changes. So we pay more in principal and we pay less in interest. But the next section, the interest number goes up. Now I know that that's got the additional line for Central Street project, but it still seems like it went up more. I don't understand how both principal and interest would go up with no new project. So what am I seeing wrong here?
I'm following the schedules, the debt schedules.
Okay.
So these are the numbers that were given on the debt schedules. I cannot fully answer your question because I don't know how they were negotiated, but these are the payments.
I got you. I already knew we weren't going to change anything. We're not going to save any money here. I just am being a pain.
I can give you some, I was just gonna pull up the debt schedule. I was gonna give you some information about some of them that are coming up.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I did put it in there. There you go. So, the first one, Central Square project, last payment is 2027.
Yep.
The declor is until 2039. The dump body and plow is 2026. Public safety building 2042. Town office building is 2030. I don't know on the treatment plant improvements, that one didn't have a date on that, so I'll have to double check it. And then the sidewalk holder is 2028. So there is one coming off next year, which is the 5-year lease on the dump body. And then it looks like one the year after and one the year after that. But it just depends on what we do with any kind of replacement vehicle too, so.
Right. Okay. Anyone else have?
Yeah, just a
Go
quick
ahead,
question.
Sue.
So when we were saying about the public safety building, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Why are they, I know, I don't understand what you're saying about the adjusted budget numbers for debt schedule. When there's a loan, aren't they all the same payments from the
No.
beginning? They don't change? It's not like
They
a personal
change.
loan, it's not like a,
No,
They
It
do
all
change.
depends on the bond financing agreements.
So-
that are
so they can
signed.
change it at any time?
no, we get a
Amount?
schedule for the year.
Okay.
We get a schedule set out for the years, and this is the schedule.
Okay.
Let me just pull up.
Municipal bonds
Are
typically,
different.
long-term municipal bonds typically have a feature called a sinking fund, which kicks in midway through the bond typically, and it's basically an accelerated payment of the principal. So your principal amounts you may pay, when the sinking fund kicks in, the sinking fund may require you to do an extra 10% of principal that year or something.
Oh.
So over the term of some of these have a sinking fund feature. The principal portion of the bond will increase.
Oh.
So if I just look at the public safety building as an example, let me go. Maybe.
And I don't know these agreements in specificity by any means, but I know that nonprofit bonding, or it's probably going all through the Municipal Bond Financing Association, and there's multiple different types of arrangements you can pick when you do these, so.
Public safety building principal, it was 198,350 for next year. The year after, it's 204,300. The year after, it's 210,429. That's the
Wow.
principal.
So what happens
Yeah.
is as the loan amount goes down, the interest that you pay gets reduced, but you're essentially between the two making the same payment,
Yeah.
so you're accelerating the
It's like
payment.
a home mortgage, typically it's a level payment over years, and the ratio between principal interest changes. As
Yeah,
years go on, you
that's-
pay more principal
right.
less than interest.
Yeah, your
Right.
payments are the same, but then that goes down, but these your payments are
But
going up.
here-
Right, you're
but
paying
here-
more to principal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here,
But
but
because
here
you're
we're
paying
looking
less
at,
to interest in the end.
right, so,
But-
Yeah.
these
Full
sets of
payment.
numbers
There
are
may
the
also be
principal.
single fund too, and that's the term
Right.
insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're not gonna have that on the public safety building where we're in year two.
I just wanna make,
No,
I just want to make it clear, these numbers are principals only, and then
Yeah.
the next section is interest. So the total payment is principal and interest. So this isn't principal total payments, this is just principal payments.
Right, gotcha.
Well, and looking at, just to give you, the last year, the principal payment is $318,000, but the interest is $9,500. So they give us a schedule and a due date, and we book them as we go, so.
Right. Okay, I think I spent enough of our time on that. Thank you for answering that. Hopefully it was helpful, but let's take a vote on final approval for the debt service principal payments, section 4711, in the original amount of $365,167. All in favor?
Right.
Opposed, abstained, none, 700. That's 4711 is approved. Now we'll go on to 4721. So I'll make a motion to advance consideration of the interest payments on long-term debt, which is section 4721, in the select board recommended amount of $189,151.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Les. So this should be the same list, and the only real difference is that sorry, I'm stepping on your toes here, but the only real difference is that line 997 is not zero, because even though we don't have any principal payments on the new sewer project, we have to pay interest costs while the construction's going on.
So we're paying interest on the bond anticipation note, and we just used the bond anticipation note for the first time, but we've had it in over a year, so we did have to use it recently, so. So the interest payment, for 2025 was estimated that we would be 20,000. So we don't know what our interest payment is going to be, how much, it's based on how much we draw down, so.
Any other questions or comments that anyone would like to make?
The only comment I'll make is just that interest would have gone down substantially if it weren't for that increase on that one. So
Yeah.
to your point earlier, interest did go down even though principal went up.
Well, that's the thing that I didn't understand. Your budget,
Sorry.
we budgeted $20,000 last year. And we had a total of 190,000. And this year we're budgeting 30,000. I see what you're saying. So it should have gone up by 10, and instead it went down by 1.
Correct.
I got you, thank you.
Yep.
I misread that, you're right. So I said both went up, but it's not true. Interest did go down, which is what I expected, which is why I was confused and I asked the question in the first place. All right, enough justification for my rambling, let's move on.
Whoops.
We're ready for a final vote, I think. Speak if you disagree. We're gonna make a vote for final approval on the long-term interest payments on long-term debt, section 4721, in the original amount of $189,151. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, abstained, none, 700, that passes. The last section to discuss in our new business section is, I'll make a motion to advance consideration on the interest cost on TANs, which is section 4723, it says it a little differently, but that's what it is, in the select board recommended amount of $18,000.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Joe, for interest payments on tax and revenue anticipation notes of $18,000. Do you want to say anything before I ask my question?
You can ask your question, how's that? Go ahead.
So, I already know the answer, so there's no question.
You sure?
Well, what I was gonna say was, we had to take out a TAN last year because we had a problem with the tax bill to the school. We had to take out a TAN this year.
We've taken
But-
up a TAN twice this year.
Right, and what I was gonna say is, but in '26, we shouldn't have to take out a TAN, but in '26, we have to pay the interest on the '25 TAN, so we do have to have money in the budget, so.
Yeah, so we just had to, we have set the tax rate,
I have to remember that the money in the '26 budget isn't for a '26 TAN, it's to pay the interest on the '25 TAN, which we definitely took out. So, like I said, I already figured out my question was wrong before I got it out of my mouth.
But I will let you know, we did just take the full TAN that we had the ability to take because it doesn't matter when you collect the taxes, you still have to pay the county on time. So we have to pay the county.
Or pay a significant fee.
Yes, so we have to pay the county tomorrow, $1.1 million, and we haven't collected a cent of taxes. So we had to take the TAN out to pay the county bill, and we took the whole TAN because you also have to pay all your capital reserves by Monday, or by statute, so we have to cut.
By state
We have to-
statute, you have to make those
So we cut
contributions.
$460,000 on Monday, and we cut 1.1 million today, and the TAN is paying for those. We haven't paid the school in 2 months because we haven't collected any money either, but we're hoping soon. Now, we should have the bills out by, I would think, by next week before Christmas. People probably won't get them till after Christmas, though.
Can we go back a little bit for a second here?
Sure, yeah, we can.
Last year, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the board, and with your help, Christina, were unable to set the tax rate because the school district was unable to provide the financial information to DRA, which is a 40% component of the tax rate.
Correct.
And as a result, the board was put in a position where they had to borrow money, tax anticipation note, to keep everything going. For the amount that the town is budgeting going forward, how much is the school responsible for that in terms of causing that borrowing?
I was gonna ask that question actually
I
myself.
probably, if I estimated high, I would probably say 100%. But I think that's a high number. I mean, we are late this year for 2 reasons to start off. We would have been late because it's a reevaluation year. So usually we do not get tax bills done normally. Normally they're done October, November roughly.
Right.
But with a reval year, it pushes it off closer to December. The school just finished their stuff. So the school made us late again.
Right, and I'd just like to make a point, and I'm not sure if folks will agree with it, but, you know, if we have 2 years in a row where the town is put in a position, a cash flow position, because one of the important parties is unable to produce the financial information they need to create the tax rate, is the town going to consider through the Board of Selectmen to bill the school for that portion of the interest that's being paid because of the fact that they were unable to provide their financial information to create the tax?
Or even a penalty, I was
Well-
just thinking of a penalty, even not necessarily the whole thing.
I can let you know
It's
that
still our
another
money.
town
Yeah.
tried this and they couldn't do it. Honestly, I think part of it is also the town. It's the town's responsibility to have cash on hand as well. So I think it could go both ways. I don't believe that statutorily we can do that though.
Right, and
It is something we want to check into.
Right, the only reason I bring up this point, just, I've had a little experience in this particular field. And the school's financial reports are due in September.
So are the towns.
Right. And when they can't be produced, then the Department of Administration obviously can't set a tax rate. So it just seems to me that if the town finds itself in a reoccurring position when one of the parties is contributing or causing the tax rate to be delayed, then I think Sue used the word penalty. I think they should rightfully share in the cost of the expense. And that's, you know, something that maybe would signal the school district, like other SAUs in the state, to have auditors come in July and early August, do the financial statement and do the balance sheet. Then they would have the information to produce the DOE 25 form in September, and as a result, they would not put the Board of Selectmen in a position to have to go out and borrow money.
So their reasons for the delays isn't just attributed to the DOE or the financial statements. They are catching those up. I believe when Paul came, he said they were caught up to the current year. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Part of their problem is 2 years ago, roughly, they were hacked and they lost everything. So they're still, they actually filed revenues and they filed their DOE 25. Last year they didn't. We had a DOE 25 that just said, see an Excel sheet. So something like that. And so they did file those this year. So they filed revenues and they filed their paperwork. But they had to pull in two business administrators in addition to their business administrator to help get that work caught up this year. So I don't know if this catches them up or not, so.
I find this conversation very interesting, and I'd love to go out and have a beer with you and talk about it. But I think it's not within the purview of our responsibilities, so in some respects, we're kind of not spending our time wisely to have this conversation. So I also, Sean wants to say something, so go ahead, you go first, and then we'll
From the
let you.
board standpoint,
Yes, please.
it's still Bristol's tax money. So you just rob and Peter to pay Paul. So, and we're also trying to partner and be good stewards with the school district and them allowing us to use their buildings for voting
For free.
in such instances. So
They're not charging us now either, so.
Sean, you wanted to say something, go ahead, you're a select board member.
I am
We'll let you say.
100% in line with your reasoning and your thought on that in terms of how frustrating it's been the last couple of years. I've been a cheerleader for them, but also a pretty big critic in certain cases. But it's important to note what Christina said just a few minutes ago. We haven't paid the last 2 monthly bills to the SAU. They are letting us slide on that until we get our tax money. That's $900,000. $1.1 million. That we're basically for 2 months getting a pass until we get that big chunk of money that comes from our tax bills going out at the end of December. They've done that for us on many, many occasions where we would have had to file a TAN and we didn't file a TAN because we would not pay them for a couple of months until the tax revenues came in.
And so you know too, we are not the only town that hasn't paid them. They did ask us when we'd be able to make a payment, and I laid it out for them, and they said, I'm sorry, I don't think we can make a payment until we start collecting taxes.
Till January, yeah.
Which they've been very gracious about. I think if they really pushed it, we would still, we're a collector. We have to pay whether we collect the taxes or not normally. So they've been very good with us. I know there is another town that also owes them 1.1 million. So that's 2.2 million they don't have.
Well, apparently their cash flow is better than the towns, because if they
Not from
can,
what I've heard.
well, if they can
We're gonna
afford
put a
not
buy
to,
building here.
not to receive.
They're not buying it.
They're not, no.
No, they backed out, I thought that.
I've
have
heard
they?
a rumor, but I haven't heard anything official.
I thought it was
And it has to go to a
posted.
vote anyways, it has to be approved, so
Yeah.
there's nothing to say.
Right,
Well,
I
there's,
thought they were gonna put it on the ballot for March, but I mean, we haven't voted, they can't do
I'll
it
have to
yet.
double check, I swore somebody said they just took a vote.
Oh, maybe the school board voted to.
I'll double check and I'll email you if it's not just a rumor, so.
The only point I was trying to make is just to create
Yeah.
some discussion that the four entities that contribute to the tax bill should be sort of on their game so that it doesn't force one of the parties to borrow money versus establishing the tax rate, say, in November, and folks pay their tax bill, and then you don't have the situation of having to
Might I please suggest that you go to our state representative and have him file a bill so we can pay the county monthly. That would be fantastic, because it's actually set up in the legislature, in statute, that they get paid on X day
Yeah,
of December
For the whole year.
for the whole year.
Right.
all at once.
And not to argue with you, Sean, but if you look at DRA's tax rate schedule for 2025, you'll see that some towns set their tax rate by the first week in October.
100% agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
No,
we've
100%.
done, we've done before. We've set it in, usually we're setting the tax rate late October when we're on time,
Yeah.
but we haven't been able to be on time for a couple of years, so. We don't, and let me just tell you too, we don't have a choice about being on time in the spring.
Right.
We don't set the tax rate, but we don't have a choice, and we have to send our bills out. We have to send our information on our bills to the tax collector by May 15th, and the bills are always July 1st. There's no choice in that, that's also statutory. But it's the fall that causes.
I was just gonna ask for help because I've lost track. Did we actually vote on the
No.
final?
No,
on
we
the
did
tan-
not.
Okay, so that's where I'm gonna jump in now. We need to do a final vote on this section of the budget for paying interest on the TANs and other revenue anticipation notes. So we're having a final vote on section 4723, which is interest on tax and revenue anticipation notes in the original amount of $18,000. All in favor? Aye. Against, abstained, none, 700. We are through the budget sections. Hallelujah. Meeting minutes. So we had a meeting last week on December 9th. Draft minutes were sent out. Thank you, Sean.
Good night.
See you Thursday.
Before we get into the detail, does anyone have any comments or things they would like to see changed or clarified? Buzz, go ahead.
Did you want to move
Two
them first?
things.
Oh, okay, yes, thank you, Christina. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 9th, 2025 meeting of the Bristol Budget Committee.
I'll second.
Second. Motion by Paul, second by Sue to approve the minutes. Buzz?
At the top of the second page, 4 lines down, there's at the beginning of the line, the word increased
Yep.
should be deleted.
Crossing guard
It's
was
just-
proposed.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
proposed to
Where was
increase.
this one?
It's in the,
Page 2, fourth line down.
The
Oh,
word
fourth line, I thought it was
increases.
a paragraph, okay.
it's just an extra word.
Yeah.
Crossing guard was proposed to increase significantly. Gotcha.
And the other is on the 4th page. It's under emergency management. And this will show you how ridiculous my mind works, but in the 3rd line at the end, the word federal,
Yep.
when you're talking about the federal government, it's a
Capital.
capital F.
Okay.
And that's it.
Whoa,
Not bad.
good.
Okay. So again, any other comment? Not hearing any? you got those two
Yeah.
changes? I'll make, we'll do a vote for final approval of the minutes as amended. So we're voting on approving the minutes of the December 9th meeting as just amended. All in favor? Aye. Against, abstain, none, 700, that passes. This isn't as horrible as I thought it was gonna be. Correspondence. I don't have any correspondence. Does anyone have any correspondence they want to share with the rest of the committee?
Joe wasn't gonna be here.
Well, I
The meeting went faster than I thought.
I appreciate your being here, so I wasn't gonna give you any grief. Christina, do you have any other correspondence that's?
No correspondence, no.
Comments, usually we start with you, Scott, anything going on? No. Joe, anything you?
Good. Oh, we set the tax rate.
Yes.
You haven't heard.
I think Christina mentioned it a few minutes ago, the bills should go out next week, and we'll probably get them right after
I
Christmas.
can So it was, the original, last year's tax rate was $23.62.
Yep.
The new tax rate is $13.16. The town portion last year was $9.75, the new town portion is $5.11.
There was actually, it's actually posted, I think it's on a blue piece of paper in the lobby. In front
I'll have it
of
on the
use.
website tonight.
The
It's
thing-
all over the Newtown community.
Post it notes.
Okay, you've already seen it. The thing that I noticed was that that in last year, the town and the school had gotten pretty close, and now the school's back out in front again for who's charging more money.
Well, we had the reassessment.
The
No, but I mean,
reassessment change numbers.
but the dollar per
The ratio.
10,000 of, yeah, the ratio of those two numbers.
I have nothing.
Okay. Buzz, anything? I'm gonna take a moment, I know we're still in public session, but I wanna thank you for what you did with the, so this is a comment, I can make this, for what you guys did with the library. What happened with that position, I won't get into an open meeting, but what I said to Patty, I was frustrated about, because she's like, how could the select board do this? And I said, but your note at the bottom didn't explain that in 2024, we budgeted for 20 hours a year, and now we've hired someone to do 30 hours a year. Without that information, what was done wasn't horrible, but it needs to be fixed. But I'm still frustrated, because overall, I mean, you asked about, or maybe Brian asked, somebody asked, yeah, there are funds, and tax money that isn't spent doesn't stay with the library. We don't get to have a reserve fund. It has to go back to the town. But when people donate money to the library and we don't spend it, that goes into a bank account. There are bank accounts that under the control of the trustees and the treasurer. There's a report in the annual town meetings. You can look at it and see that the library trustees have access to a considerable amount of money. The other thing that frustrated me, and I'll just tell you, I don't know if I'm gonna make a motion in January when we reconsider. So the library has 2 full-time employees, and then the youth services librarian, which is in a line, and in past years, the other 3 employees, who are all part-time, were in one line, 191.
No,
Did I get the line number wrong?
yeah, well, it's not the youth services was in its own line, and
That's what I said, youth
there's
services,
the ILL librarian, she was in her own line.
she's full-time,
Yes,
so
those two were in there.
of the 6 staff members in the library, there were 4 lines. There were 3 lines for one person, and there was a line for part-time people, and the other 3 employees were in there. And the library director made a decision, I'm trying not to ramble too much more, made a decision to separate that out. And my frustration is, as a budget committee member, when you change the structure of the budget, it's harder to see trends. So what you don't see, what most people don't see, and I only know because I'm on the library, I'm upset because you can't see that there's a proposal in there to increase the number of hours per week for one of the part-time people. She doesn't talk about it. And I've said, if it were me, I would take that back out, because we were in a meeting in September, I think it was September, and she said, we have excellent staff, we have enough people, right now we're only open on Tuesday evenings. I want to propose that we start opening, no, it's probably the August meeting, because we decided in August, but we waited till after Labor Day to implement it, that we would now be open on Thursday evenings. So now the library is open 2 nights a week till 8 o'clock. Instead of closing at 6 o'clock on Thursday, it's now open till 8. And she said, we have plenty of staff, they're willing to adjust their schedule so that we'll take some of the hours that they're doing in the day and we'll put in the evening. We can expand the hours that the library will be open, and we need no new staff time. And the trustees approved it. And then we went to the meeting in September where we first reviewed the 26 budget, and she said, I want to increase this person's hours from, I believe, 20 hours a week to 24 hours a week. And I'm like, why are we just agreed to expand the hours of operation because we had enough people, we didn't need more staff. Now you're proposing to increase the staffing levels. And she said, my proposal to increase the staffing levels have nothing to do with the operation of the budget. I just want that person to be available to help them. And I'm like, but I'm a budget person. Why are we increasing this person's hours by 20% if it's gonna hit the budget? And I'll tell you, Scott, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna anyway. When you guys met as a select board to review the budget, and you made the cut to the youth services librarian because you didn't have all the information and what you did made sense. I said to Christina, I said, did the select board go back and cut the extra hours for this person and the over 4% increase for this other person who's hidden in the line? And she said no, because when the structure changed, they didn't realize it was there. They didn't know that they had that opportunity. And that's why I'm losing my mind. And I've said this to the trustees. I think they're happy with me because I pay attention to detail and I found this problem. We haven't seen this problem that you guys fixed tonight until 26. The library would have been in a really tough position. So they're happy that I'm doing all this detail work. But then when I tell them I want to spend less money, they're like, oh, Paul, you're just a Republican asshole. I mean, they don't use that word. I shouldn't say that in an open meeting. I need to apologize to all.
Which word, Republican?
All right. I need to stop, but
We can feel
an
your
8% increase. I think I'm maybe not as much as your daughter, but I'm a big user of the library.
Sure.
I'm there quite a lot.
Sure.
But an 8% increase is a lot.
I guess my take on, in particular, certainly that they have a trust fund. In almost every organization I've ever worked for, you don't use your trust fund for operating.
No.
Right? The trust fund is not meant to supplant operating costs. And so in my mind, the town is supposed to be providing the funds necessary to operate. And the trust funds are for, whatever the specific donations are for. So,
Sorry.
Merry Christmas.
It was half day today.
So I think that partition makes sense. And, I don't know if it's the budget committee's place to really weigh in on the trustees of the
library, the details of the
deliberations
library
and discussion,
operation and
but-
fiscal structure.
Yeah.
I did forget we were live.
This has always been a concern over the years where there's been butting of heads
Yeah.
because they want autonomy,
Yeah.
but they also want the municipal funds.
Sure.
And so it has cropped up over the years a number of times.
There's going to be some conversations probably between the library trustees and the select board going
Yeah.
forward.
Yep.
But partly because of some information we've discovered over the past few months.
Paul took some training in August and September and have learned some new RSAs, and some things are gonna have to change.
Sure.
And I've said that to the trustees, and they've said, yes, let's work on it over the next few months, so that by next year, we're better compliance with all those rules we just learned about. But the other thing that's interesting is the RSA says trustees are not allowed to own property. So even though the trustees are responsible for the library and operating the library, the trustees don't own the library. The library is still a town asset and therefore is owned by the town, which is, so it's kind of funky that you would argue that one of the things that I'll be doing, just so you know, is that one of the trainings I talk about, that as much as possible, you want your policies to be clear, written, understood documents. The cooperation between the library and the rest of the town mostly is nods and winks and handshakes and smiles. And so I went out and got a document it's from Chichester, signed by the library trustees and the select board, talking about here's how these two groups are gonna operate, cooperate, and the division of responsibilities. We don't have that. Hopefully in a year, sometime in '26, that will be created. All right.
Motion adjourned.
I was gonna say, before that, I was just staff comments. Thank you. Now, Les motion, anyone want a second?
He seconded.
Scott did.
Scott did.
Okay, motion by Les, seconded by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night. Merry Christmas.